There's something about Broncos, I don't know what it is. It's the smell of a Bronco, it's the look of a Bronco. It's the fact that you can cram any drivetrain in them that you want to. I think a lot of it's ingrained in me. My mother was driven to the hospital when I was being born in a Bronco, and I was taken home from a hospital in a Bronco, so maybe that's got something to do with it, I'm not sure. It's in my blood. Dad, of course, you know, wasn't a real rich guy, and he says, hey, I don't have much for you. He says, but I got 3 cars, pick one. Grew up in a military family. My dad's a big hunter and outdoorsman. All of his buddies had Scouts, they had Jeeps, and that was one of the things, and he always rode with them. So he said, hey, I want something I can get around with, and I want to be better than these guys. I'm not saying my dad was a one-upper, but he always liked to have the best of everything. I look back, and again, my dad would get ready for deer season. He'd pull the back seat out of the Bronco, he'd lay some plastic in the back, he'd load up his stuff, and he would go. And that's exactly what I do. I purposely do what he did just because, again, it's all about reliving the memories. Finally driving it to work one day, the engine let out on me. It had 280-some thousand miles on it, broke the crankshaft. And of course, again, I had a lot of things going on at the house. We had just bought this place. So it found its way to the corner of the garage, and I said, well, you know, I'll get to it someday. When she showed interest, it was kind of amazing to me. It's something that any guy wants to hear anyway, but to hear your daughter say it is, she actually said when it came time, you know, she was getting old enough, she was like, I gotta start thinking about a car. And again, I'm not a rich guy, so I was like, well, babe, I said, I got my labor and I can do that. And she said, Dad, she goes, I would love to have a Bronco. Everyone's got Jeeps and everyone's got Mustangs and Camaros. She goes, I want something different. So, of course, I had Dad's old original Bronco in the corner, and I said, well, if you want, we can start tearing this thing apart, and we can see what it's like and see what we can do for it.
I know that I did kind of want to follow in Dad's footsteps and know that that was, you know, his dad's and his. It's just nice to say that you actually know everything about it and built it yourself.
It provided itself to my dad as something he needed to get out and do his hunting, which is what he liked to do. It got me around, it got me to high school, it got me all around my first 3 or 4 assignments in the military. I drove it everywhere. And then when my daughter got it, again, she drove it to high school every day, and when she goes to college, it gets her back and forth to college. That Bronco has proven itself from the day we bought it. It has served this family, and it's done what we've asked of it, and it's never failed to do so.